Norfolk Southern number 8102, the Pennsylvania Railroad Heritage Unit, came past on the first catch. We set up at Claremont, just behind the milepost 38, because you can have that on the defect detector, and you can also look on a few route maps, and we're right there. I already had a few suspicions that we were going to catch the Pennsylvania Railroad unit because it's going eastbound already on 24Z the day before. So we figured that it was going to be coming on 123 the next day, but that leads me to another thing. You notice that they do not have DPU. Now, usually they have DPU, as demonstrated here, but nowadays they just do like the coal trains did for a long time. They go down the southern loop, and they just have engines on the back, and they stop at Old Fort, and they take those engines back up to Asheville to help the other trains. Now, the lack of DPU is kind of an uncool factor, because what happens if it has, like, a warp on it or something? I don't know. But anyway, it's gonna meet up with 135 at the siding, just eastbound of it at the milepost 38. So, and then we'll catch 135, and I have a few other things to say about 135. So, let's see it. So we stayed right there where I was standing, but we just turned eastbound. And I could not have asked for a better long shot, especially if the sun was aligned correctly. But I'm just gonna say, I will come back to this place a lot. So then we catch the almost incredibly short 135. Now, it has been incredibly short lately. If you watch some of my other videos, if it looks like they have a bunch of GE locomotives on the lead, but they have like only 20 cars behind them, it's probably 135. Now, this has really confused me, because usually 135 is one of the longest trains that we catch on the S line. But it seems that it goes from Linwood to Chattanooga. Now, if you guys ever go to Chattanooga, you know the traffic there is heavy. So my theory is they've already got enough traffic, either that or they're delivering less to the West Coast. That's just my theory, but anyway, 135, and I'll tell you a few more things after this. Another cool factor about the shot is looking at the shadows when the sun is on the opposite side of the tracks where we are. It's a really nice shot, and I will encourage anybody to come back to this shot. That is, if you do Railfan on the S line. If you don't, then, well, I don't know what to say. But there are a few other shots that I do have special, and I'm going to tell you a funny story when we see M23. So, but I do have two other trains to show you and talk about. So, stick around. So we just moved right outside of Oyama, which is around the milepost 52, and we set up at this really nice church, and we caught P60. So stick around. P60 is going to be short. Alright, so we set up at this bridge to catch 741, and this bridge is right around the 57 milepost. And let me tell you what, I almost caught the 611 with this shot in 2016, but we decided to either get a long shot or a bridge shot. But we decided against it, and we decided to do a long shot with 611, in my opinion, just as good. But the past is the past, and 741 did an awesome show. So, let's see. let me tell you a funny story, because this is like literally one of the funniest things ever. So we were at home listening to the defect detector or whatever, listening to the dispatcher for M23, and we heard him clear about an hour ago at Coleman. And at 25 miles an hour, Coleman is around the 1-teens milepost, somewhere in the 1-teens. And at 25 miles an hour, it would have reached Conley Springs, which is the 67, around about 2 hours afterwards. And I figured that, I don't know if I was listening to the time correctly, but I thought he was coming. So we set off, and we saw a yellow signal somewhere in between Hildebrand and Conley Springs. So we thought, oh, he's really, really close. But then we got to Conley Springs, and he wasn't there. And then we almost drove all the way to Morganton, and he wasn't there. We stopped at about Valdez to turn around and go back. And then we heard him get a track authority from the 73 to Oyama. And literally, we spent an hour and a half chasing a wild ghost train. It was literally one of the weirdest things ever. And he had a hot box of about 600 degrees on one of the axles on car number 103. And I can tell you one thing that I have learned is fellowship can be a passenger on the railroad all the time. right here would have been where the hot box was. And if you guys can tell, I couldn't see it. It was running, one of the axles was running 600 degrees. But it was one of the greatest Railfan trips that I ever had on the S-Line, ever since 2016, when they actually ran 45. So, but they were like, well, I had two other people with me. They were exhausted and angry after that train, but I personally loved it.